Hello, this is Spellbinder. Here's an article I got from henrymalcall.com. It says U.S. Census counted everyone as citizens. Imagine that. De facto immigration reform. A $14.5 billion U.S. Census asked your national origin, but did it ask if you were a U.S. citizen? An estimated 20 million illegal immigrants were counted as citizens. Imagine that. By Andrew Linyard for Henry Malcall. I was one of the 500,000 people hired to work on the 2010 census, which cost $14.5 billion, more than 3 times the 2000 census. The 2010 census cost about $47 for every man, woman, and child. Imagine where that money could have been used. Could have been used to pay off people's houses, mortgages, a lot of things. Anyways, the census asks every conceivable question but the obvious one. Are you a citizen? It asked about everyone who lives in your household, but made no effort to determine citizenship status. Think of it as don't ask, don't tell. It asked if your kids are adopted or whether you have a mortgage. And do you identify yourself as Hispanic? And if so, are you Mexican, Chicano, Puerto Rican, Cuban, etc., etc.? But it never asked about citizenship. I wonder why. Given the fact that there are tens of millions of illegal aliens in the country, plus of course many other people here legally but not citizens, the significance and the real purpose is to make sure that as many non-citizens as humanly possible are included, and they are represented in the apportionment of Congress. Yes, that's the apportionment of Congress. You know how it works, the census. The Constitution says the purpose of the census is to properly apportion representation in Congress. Our congressmen represent the citizens of their states, so I had assumed that the census would be counting only citizens. But no, it counted everyone living in the United States, whether they are citizens or not, and that included illegal aliens. Of course, illegal aliens might be reluctant to come out of the shadows, as they say, so now it made sense why there was such a great effort and ferret everyone out, even if it meant intruding on people's lives. One of the major goals of the census is to include every non-citizen, including every illegal alien in the final count. This means that the census is now deliberately anti-constitutional. If illegal aliens are counted in California, then California will be sure to get additional seats in Congress, despite the fact that many citizens have been leaving California over the past 10 years. The same is true of other states with large numbers of illegals. By the same token, other states, like where I live, the writer, which have relatively few immigrants, are in danger of losing representation. In fact, if California and some of the other states gain, then states like mine must lose. This is the exact opposite of the true and only constitutional purpose of the census. To appreciate how strong an effort this can have, we just have to consider how many illegal aliens there are in the U.S. The figure is typically given to be 12 million, but that's a government media figure. Before it got swallowed up by competitors with the government's help, Bear Stearns did a demographic study of the question. They had no axe to grind. They just wanted an honest figure for its bearing on the making financial decisions. They concluded about 3 years ago that conservatively there were 20 million. Democratic destruction. I am all for welcoming immigrants as long as they come here legally, are willing to work, and our economy can accommodate them. But for more than 20 years, we have been inundated with millions of immigrants whose culture is not only radically different from ours, but who have no desire to assimilate. Each year has been like a slow motion reenactment of Jean Raspail's apocalyptic novel, The Camp of the Saints. This is true of Canada as well. See the recent article by Kevin Michael Grace on Radar.com. This unending flood is leading to a demographic destruction of America. This purpose can still be stopped before it's too late, but it seems to me we are close to the tipping point. Unfortunately, the government wants to continue and even advance this process. This is true both political parties. I assume the real purpose is either to create the conditions for a merger of the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, or else foster the breakup of balkanization of America. Either result would serve the goals of the Illuminati. In its own modest way, the 2012 census has been a part of this process. It expended great efforts and spent double-digit billions to count and lock in tens of millions of non-citizens who are now in our country. It is counting them so that Congress will soon be apportioned in a way that gives them as much representation as Americans and in a way that erodes our own representation. It's a form of de facto merger, de facto immigration reform. Unfortunately, in my own modest way, I was part of this process too. If needed the money, I needed the money, and I am grateful for the friends I made, but I can't help feeling ambivalent. I thought I would be doing something worthwhile, and I tried to do a good job, but now it's clear to me that my efforts were made to serve the subversive ends. Addendum. The questions were as follows. How many people were living in your house, apartment, or mobile home on April 1st? This means any dwelling, as I said in my article. Census workers in the field checked out and left forms on garages, broken down shacks, tool sheds, chicken coops, etc. You never know, especially when you're counting illegal aliens. 2. Is this dwelling owned or rented? If owned, is there a mortgage? 3. What is your name, address, and phone number? 4. What is your gender? 5. What is your age and date of birth? 6. Are you Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin? This is to cover the different terms that a person might use to identify himself. Therefore, someone might think of himself as being a Spanish origin but not a Hispanic. We want to make sure that person is properly grouped with the Hispanics. If yes, then you are Mexican, Mexican American, or Chicano, Puerto Rican, Cuban, another. You're told you can write in Colombian, Dominican, etc., etc. We want everyone to be counted, or comfortable, I should say. 7. What is your race? White, black, African American, Negro? The last term caused some offense among professional blacks and African Americans, but it was deemed necessary because apparently a significant portion of the older population still identifies with the term Negro, American Indian, or Alaskan Native. If so, there is a space for you to write in your tribe. Asian, Indian, Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, other Asian. Here you get the space to write it in. Suggestions are Hmong, Latino, Laotian, Thai, etc., etc. Native Hawaiian, Guatemalan, or Carimero, Samoan, other Pacific Islander. Again, a space for Fujian, Tongan, etc. Finally, some other race, fill in the blank. Obviously, no one is just an American anymore, all the more so that non-Americans are counted right along the side of Americans. Here we see politically correct identity politics running rampant, as well as intellectual incoherence and the confusion of race, ethnicity, and nationality. Note, too, there are no Euro-Americans, Swedish or Polish. 8. Do you sometimes live or stay somewhere else? College, military, seasonal residence, jail, nursing home? For child custody? Then, believe it or not, the census workers, sometimes including those of us in the office who handle the phones, is supposed to go through all the above questions not only for the main person in each household who's answering the census, but for each and every person given in the answer to number 1. Plus, the census requires we will be told the relationship of each person to the main person. This gets to be pretty intrusive. Husband or wife, unmarried or partner, roommate or housemate, roomer or boarder, son or daughter, stepson, adopted son, biological son, son-in-law, etc., etc. The only limit is the limit of possible relationships in the way what is the middle initial of each person. That's how the article ends. It's pretty interesting, though. I mean, you look at this and yeah, I think they counted 20 million illegals. I wouldn't doubt that. Just because the way they questioned everyone, and not saying if you're American or not, they just want to know what your race is and how many people are living in the same household, chicken coop or whatnot. Pretty wild. I find this intrusively amazing myself. I have no reason to doubt the census, except that does sound pretty bizarre, because I read over the census when it came out and it was pretty intrusive. It had a lot of pages it shouldn't have had. I mean, all they want to know is, if you're how many people in the house. That's basically it, and not who you are, what you are, how you are, why you are. I mean, it's pretty intrusive. Anyways, I'm going to leave this here for now. I'm going to put this up and see what you people think. I mean, did you fill out the census and feel it was really intrusive? I really thought it was intrusive when I went through it. I mean, they wanted to know everything except if you're a citizen. And I guess it doesn't matter now if you're a citizen or not. They just want heads. They want body counts. They don't care who you are or anything. I think that, I guess, it was pretty intrusive. I mean, asking all those questions of your rationality, what your race is and everything. Like you said, they didn't ask for Swedish or Polish or German. In a way, they asked everything but that. Well, until next time, this is Spellbinder with this article with a question in my own head. Be good at it, and have a good day.